What is going on all, and welcome to the video. As you can see, I am standing in the new shop that is currently under construction. Now I'll be honest with you, yesterday when I planned this video, it was 84 degrees and sunny. Today, cold front came through, it's 50 degrees and windy. So if you're seeing this, that means the audio was okay and I was good to put the video up. So what we're gonna cover today is I'm gonna walk around the new shop. I'm gonna show you a little bit of what's been going on. I'll give you the construction schedule and how we got where we're at now. I'll show you the outside, the inside. We've got 2 air-conditioned rooms and a bathroom over here on this side. So a little later in the video, I'll give you a full tour of the actual shop itself. So first, I want to tell you a little bit about why the shop looks like this right here and not like a metal building, because that would have been much easier and much less expensive. But in the neighborhood that we live in, we're not allowed to put up metal buildings. The homes have to be built in the same scheme, style, and materials as the home. So if you look over here, you can see we've got the shingle roof, that's all hardy siding, and we've got stone around the bottom to match the home. We also built it fully wrapped in plywood so that we could properly windstorm the entire structure. We do get some very big winds here. We're about 50 to 60 miles from the coast, so we don't have to worry about the major hurricane strength winds, but I'd rather be safe than sorry when it's a few dollars extra to put up clips and straps. So let's get out of the wind and come into the bar area to talk a little bit about our process. We designed this plan with an architect specifically to match the house. After that, we had to go through HOA approvals to make sure that everything matched the scheme, style, and materials, as I mentioned earlier, and then we were on to engineering and construction. Once I received the engineered plans back, we went ahead and dug our foundation. When we dug the foundation, we dug 36-inch beams in a checkerboard pattern throughout the entire thing. We also dug beams along the main wall on the inside of the shop that borders the shop with the air-conditioned rooms, the living spaces. And we did that so we could put a 40-inch beam underneath of it. And we did that so that it could bear the weight of the roof line and the wall. We also put on this patio area and a roll-up door here so that we have a secondary patio going out to the main home's pool. This is going to be a great entertaining space and allow us to have more people over and more entertaining spaces. After the foundation was dug, we went ahead and poured the concrete. Now, right before that, we had rebar done, and I did rebar cages throughout the entire foundation, and I did that every 2 feet versus every 3 feet because I wanted it stronger. It's a little bit more of an expense, but at the end of the day, the foundation is everything this building is built on, literally, and that was one of the most important things to me when planning the shop. We also put in this neat little 10 by 10 room off of the bathroom that gives me an office to continue to make YouTube videos like this. Speaking of YouTube videos like this, if you could go ahead and like and subscribe, comment down below, just not about all the trash because we haven't had trash pickup yet, but it really helps the channel grow and helps me continue to bring you more valuable or just plain old entertaining content. After the foundation was poured, 2 days later, we moved on to framing. But framing on this, with the way we have it designed, 6-inch walls, 24 on center, did take around 2.5 days. Once framing was complete, we moved on to roof decking and shingles. Now, I'll put some videos and pictures up of some of the process. I didn't get a lot of videos because we were moving so quickly on this. I really wanted to get it done within 30 days, and we're on pace to do that, but that meant I didn't have as much time to film while we were building it. After roof decking and shingles were done, we moved on to cornice. What is cornice, you may ask? Well, cornice is going to be the siding that goes along. That's all board and batten, James Hardie Color Plus siding, and then all of the strapping and wrapping of the beams, the soffits, everything we need to be able to weatherproof the shop. Once the cornice was done, we went ahead and started with first paint. Now this is going to be a primer coat, so the color you see on here is not the final color. I'll do an update on that later. It's going to be built to match the house, so it's going to be white with black trim. This is a primer base so that once the main color goes on, you don't have to repaint as often because it's got a good primer underneath. One of the things I've seen is Hardie fading, but that's because you put on one coat and don't do any prime underneath of it. So we're really doing this the right way to ensure that the building lasts and is as low maintenance as possible. After the primer was on, we moved on to doing the stone. So you can see we have 3 to 4 rows of stone along with a row lock across the top. That's going to ensure that it wicks any water away. Even though we've got a waterproof barrier behind all of this, you always want to make sure that you slope your stone on the edges of a row lock so that water runs off of it and not back towards your building. You can also see my air conditioning lines down here. These are the copper lines for my mini split, and I'll do a whole separate video on installing that. But let me show you where we put it inside. So both in my office and in the bar area, we've got these ductless mini splits. These are going to allow us to air condition and heat both of the rooms in the shop as well as the bathroom. Now that said, one of the things you have to consider is how to run that and run the lines before you sheetrock, because it has to be done because they need to be in the walls. Otherwise, you're running things in ductwork or in chases over the walls, and that's just not the right way to do it. So what I did is I built a fur down inside of the bathroom there. You can kind of see it, oh, right there. That's a fur down where I could run the air conditioning line, the power line, and the drain line so that we could get those to the outside of the shop and not have to worry about any exterior ductwork or pipes or anything like that. Next, I pre-mounted the units on the inside and actually covered them so that when the sheetrocker showed up to sheetrock, to texture, and to tape and float, that was already hung on both sides, so there was less work to do later, and made sure that we didn't have to cut sheetrock or do any repairs later on in the process. So what's the rest of the schedule look like? Well, there's gonna be an update video later on with the finished product, but for now what we have scheduled is next week on Monday, we're gonna do tape and float. That's where they're gonna tape all the seams and screw holes inside of the shop, and they're gonna run the float across it so that all the walls are even. Then they're going to texture the 3 livable rooms, the bathroom, my office, and the bar area, and they're gonna get all that texture on the walls so that my painters can come on Wednesday, and they're gonna paint the outside the final color and paint those 3 rooms. But also on Tuesday, I've got the garage door company scheduled. We've got a garage door going here and a garage door going on the front, and then the roll-up door I pick up Wednesday. But it doesn't need painted, so it's not as big of a deal. It comes in black already. Whereas the 2 main garage doors have to be painted by the painters, so to avoid unnecessary trip charges, I've got those going in before the painters come for final paint on Wednesday. Now, during that whole process I was explaining, we also had the electrical and plumbing roofs done. I didn't really talk about that. We had 25 to 27 lights added. We had the bathroom plumbed. That was done before the foundation. We ran the drain lines, and then post-foundation pour, post-framing, and post-cornice, we ran the main water line into the shop, as well as the water lines over to the bathroom, and we prepped for a sink in the bar area, even though we're not planning on putting one in right now. So once the sheetrock tape and float is done, we're gonna go ahead and have the electrician come back and do all the electrical trim. He's gonna put the covers, the actual plugs in, the covers on, and then he's gonna wire up the shop to the main panel of the house. So we're wiring it after the Generac. That way, if anything ever happens, we have power to both the house and the shop in the event of any emergencies. During that whole process, I'll be putting down luxury vinyl plank flooring in all of the livable areas, and I'll show you that in another video because I'll make a video about how to install it. But once that flooring is complete, the plumbers can show up and set the cabinet, the sink, and the toilet. That way we have a working bathroom. That's when they'll hook up the main water line and do the certification for the backflow preventer. Once that's done, we're gonna build a bar for the bar area, install some cabinets, and we are ready to entertain. This whole process, I think, is gonna take me a month to do, 30 days to get a finished shop built at 1,500 square feet of total slab area. My guys were incredibly helpful and they showed up on time, and finding reliable trades is one of the most important things you can do when you're doing a project like this. Either hire somebody to do it or find skilled trade labor who show up on time and do what they say they're gonna do. There's always gonna be punch work, and nothing's ever gonna be perfect in construction. You're gonna see all of the defects and flaws as you're building, but at the end of the day, getting it right and something that you and your family can enjoy is what's important. So with that, let's do a quick shop tour. I'm gonna turn this camera around and walk you through it so that you can see everything I've got going on. So from the front, you can see we've got an entry door there, as well as the garage door with the garage door on the back. We've got 2 lights to match the house going both here and here. Now those coach lights are gonna look really nice, especially at night, illuminating everything in the driveway. And that's the last thing we've gotta do is get all this trash removed this week, and then we're gonna pour the driveway and remove that fencing, and the fence will start back here at the edge of the shop. So as we walk through, you can see I've got a small entry hallway. This just provided an area so that you can come into the garage or into the bar room, but you don't have to go through the bar to get to the garage every time. You've got your double pass-through garage doors on the back, allowing for quite the breeze. We won't even use that much, but it's there if we need it or if we need to pull through and put something in the yard. Next, we've got this area back here. This is gonna be storage for all of our pool floats, all of our pool stuff, pool chemicals. We're also gonna build a yellow tote wall right there so that we can store all the black and yellow totes on. And then this is gonna be my average homeowner's YouTube office. This is gonna be an area where I can come, have all my camera equipment set up, and we're going to be able to film in here. We'll set up some sort of feature wall with a background so we can make even more videos, and hopefully more entertaining ones. Then you've got double doors. So we've got 2 left-hand swing doors here. This is gonna go to the sink, which is right here, and the commode, which is right here. So you'll be able to access this area both from the bar or from the office, or in the future, if somebody buys this house after us and they want to use this as a mother-in-law quarters, they'll be able to do it. Next, you'll have your bar. This will be an 8-foot roll-up door. We have the standard 8-foot entry door, as well as the door that I showed you earlier from the shop. And then this big wall here, where we will have cabinets all across the bottom, and we've got 2 plugs for an ice maker and a fridge. We'll have a TV up on the wall on both sides, so we'll have 2 TVs. Those cabinets will be our bar area, and then we will build in an actual bar right here with seating for 4 to watch the game. The nice thing about it is you'll also be able to see the TVs when you're hanging out at the pool. Next, we've got this little patio right here. This is a 15 by 12 patio area, and we couldn't build any bigger than this because our maximum square footage for secondary buildings on the property is 1,500 square feet as allowed by the HOA, and we are right at 1,486 with this. One thing I really liked is I wanted my architect to give it a little character, so we did this big open gable raised ceiling. I think that's gonna look really good once the trim is painted black to match the home. We've got all of our exterior plugs, all the row lock on the stone, and then because we're on a septic system, one of the things we have to do is in order to have a bathroom, we have to put a grinder pump and a lift station. So right here where this pipe is where the grinder pump and lift station will go, but it'll have to carry the waste all the way around the pool, the house, and everything to our septic system, because that's the only way that our county allows us to do it. So for those of you who made it this far in the video, I want to thank you so much for watching. This is a big project, and I hope if anybody ever wants to do one in the future or has one of their own, they'll reach out, because there's tips, tricks, and things along the way. If you're doing something like this or plan to, leave a note down in the comments below with what you're planning on doing. Maybe share some love with the community and get some feedback from the Average Homeowners community on here. Really appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next one. Later.